It's an email breakdown.
Email's not dead.
Hey friends, welcome back to another email breakdown, the series where I break down email designs and talk about best practices and inspiration for anyone looking to optimize their email marketing to achieve their goals. I'm really excited because today I'm joined by Jasmine Handa, Assistant Manager of Product Marketing over at Netcore, and we're talking all about AMP emails today. Jasmine, could you please tell me about yourself and about Netcore?
Hello, Najma. Thank you for having me here today. It's truly a pleasure. Over close to 4 years, I have been working in the world of SaaS, especially as a part of email product marketing team at Netcore. We are a robust smart tech platform that empowers businesses to create personalized and engaging communications. We deploy advanced AI driven capabilities to offer seamless omni-channel communication. This enables brands to effectively connect with their audiences through email, SMS, web, and app push. At Netco, I have had several opportunities to contribute to GTM strategies, lead generation initiatives, SEO, and crafting compelling content for email campaigns. And yeah, based on my experience through the years, I am excited to share my insights with you today.
Amazing. I'm always boggled by all the smart people I have on, and you are no exception. It sounds like you've had quite a lot on your plate. I'm really excited to hear about your experience and insights. Well, first of all, could you set the scene a little bit for not just me and for people watching as well? Could you tell me what AMP emails are, first of all?
So AMP stands for Accelerated Mobile Pages. Now, this is the technology that brings about 80% of web and app-like experience within the emails. So the people who get these emails can take actions without leaving their inbox. They can search for products, view multiple images in the carousel, shortlist, buy, track the shipment, leave a review, undertake a survey or a poll, or even play games, all without being redirected to any external landing page. As an open
Wow.
source framework developed by Google, AMP helps businesses increase the effectiveness of their email campaign. This is because it brings all actions inside the email and simplifies engagement and conversion. It's literally convenience at your fingertips.
Wow, and that is a big deal. I mean, I think just for a bit of context for anybody who is brand new to email, email is kind of hard to code for, and it is a big deal that you can have that level of interactivity in emails. So, Jasmine, could you tell me how long has this been around, and how long Netcore's been utilizing this technology?
So AMP emails had been around for a few years.
Mm-hmm.
The AMP for Email project was officially announced by Google in February 2018, which was about 3 years after the release of AMP Web.
Mm-hmm.
And since then, it has been gradually gaining adoption and support from MSPs, ESPs, brands, marketers, and user communities.
And in terms of who's using this technology, app for emails, would you say that many businesses are using it?
Absolutely. At Netco, we have seen a surge in AMP email adoption. So traditionally, apps and websites drove conversions, right? While email always served as a support channel.
Mhm.
But now, AMP empowers brands to bring the conversion funnel within emails.
Mhm.
And this is what gets the brands excited about trying AMP. We've sent 1 million AMP emails in the last 1 year,
Oh
and
my
have seen
goodness.
as high as 1500% increase in conversion rates. And several global brands are enthusiastic about a lot of AMP email capabilities. We have carousels, accordions, forms, gamifications. There's much more brands can do now with an emails.
Yeah, and it sounds like we're still in the nascent stages of using this technology. So it's going to be really exciting to see how it progresses as people gain more maturity in using it, as it's more readily available. So for those of you who are watching, you're like, I can't get my head around this. What do you mean? We've got two examples that Jasmine really kindly provided that will see the capability of AMP. So I'll share my screen. Jasmine, could you tell me a little bit about this while I'm setting it up?
Sure. So the email that we'll be talking about is the cart completion email, and it's a great example that the e-commerce brands can use, where there are a lot of people who abandon the carts. So in AMP emails, you can actually tackle the abandoned carts, and you can see here there you can change the quantity, and you can order and complete the cart within the email itself. You can actually place the order within the emails.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so yeah, so as you guys just saw, I literally changed the quantity of the products in the cart in the email itself, which normally if you have an abandoned cart email, you have to go back to the website and be directed to the cart that you abandoned. But yeah, and then you can add an address, and so you can go through with the purchase in the email itself.
Yeah, we can buy that. Now there are some ESPs where which are not allowing in payment email as of now, but we can definitely place the order within the emails. Netcore
Wow.
is in the journey of providing in-mail payments right now, so we are on that already.
That is exciting. So if I'm like, I don't want a cream sofa, I only want gray sofas, and I remove that, a pop up comes up and I say yes, and it should just remove it, which is pretty mind boggling to say the least. So it hasn't quite happened here, but because this is a demo email, it's a little bit rough and ready. But I
Yeah.
imagine that that would delete in a real circumstance,
Yes.
yeah?
Yes,
Oh,
it's a great chance for e-commerce brands to recover potentially lost sales.
wow. So since we're covering the interactive elements, I'm not going to go too much into the actual design of the emails like I usually do because I'm really interested in the how AMP works and what it means for businesses. So with regards to this, like what other elements would you say that you could make interactive? Can you make stock levels interactive as well in AMP?
Yeah. Yes. So a recipient is able to see the real what's the how the stock is working. I mean, the real updates can be seen over the email.
Oh my
So real
gosh.
time updates is possible.
Wow. So I imagine that is so thinking of my email strategist brain, I imagine that's incredibly useful for businesses that have fast moving products. And if they do have a sale and they want to drive that urgency home, having
Yeah.
real time stock updates must be, yeah, must be an
You
incredible lever to pull.
you can have countdowns too. That
Oh, God.
is again to create the urgency.
This is a demo email, so this is pretty much what we're looking at. But did you have any other kind of like commentary about this email? Well, I guess maybe a question for me is how do your clients normally, what is the process like at Netcore when someone says, I want an email like this?
So basically, we help the customers in the whole, like from the scratch, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about how the businesses can get started with AMP email. So it allows a lot of steps of registration, creating the email, and then testing. So Netcore is helping brands to start from scratch. Like you don't have anything, and we help you with the templates. We help you with the registration process. There is consultation. We have Progency, which is product-led agency, which basically we help brands to send email campaigns at scale. So yeah, Netcore is sort of a one-stop solution if you want to get started with AMP emails. You don't know anything. You come here and you will get, like, we will get the AMP emails delivered to your recipients,
Okay,
and
so
you will
all
see a lot of conversions and engagement happening.
wow. Okay, so all a business really has to do is just kind of rock up and be like, "Hang on, like, I want loads of conversions. What can you do for me?"
Yeah, true.
Okay, very cool, very cool. I'm going to stop sharing this email for now. I feel like the possibilities really are endless with this sort of technology. I'm going to go to this next email, which was very exciting when it landed in my inbox. But Jasmine, could you set the scene a little bit for this email?
So this email has gamification, and it's a gamified element, AMP element, which is there inside this email.
Oh my gosh.
That's basically to help in longer email viewing times, which will increase the likelihood of recipients taking desired action. It's a great way to create memorable moments and positive experience.
Oh,
It's
amazing.
it's sort of a Candy Crush thing that we've created in
Yeah,
this email.
so what I've got here, so you've got these little arrows which are interactive, and I think there's a if you've played the Candy Crush or a similar kind of game, you kind of immediately know what to do instinctively. And so I'm going to click that here, and I'm going to click that again. And so I've made the match, and a little dialogue opens
Yeah.
up, and then you can buy the diamond. So I assume that directs someone to the product page.
It does,
Mhm.
but the main aim of gamification is basically to set you apart from the competitors, increase engagement, increase view time, and somewhere it also helps for lead generation because you're participating in a game or a quiz. It helps brands get the information, get to know what's the needs and preferences of the recipients, and it then allows for a more targeted follow up.
Yes. So, in terms of the data, I'm really curious. What sort of data can you get from an email like this on your side? Can you see if people have been interacting with it outside of
Yeah.
being directed to a landing page?
Yes, you can see opens, you can, there are click through rates that you get through it. So, yeah, basically it helps to get the engagement rates.
There's not too much more to this email, but I think that's a really good idea because you want this to shine.
Also sets you apart from the competitors who might just be sending traditional static emails, and it showcases the brand's innovation and willingness to engage with the customers and in a very creative way.
Do you have any sort of anecdotal or anything you can share about different ways that you've used this kind of gamification technology?
So this is one Candy Crush sort of a game. They can be puzzles, Wordle, tic tac toe,
Wow.
spin the wheel. So with these gamifications, you can actually put some offers in order to incentivize the recipients. So there can be a lot of variations to the gamification emails.
Wow. Again, it feels like the sky's the limit with this sort of technology. I'd love to try and get an understanding of, well, from your point of view, what are some of the best uses for AMP emails?
So I have my top four favorites. One is tackling abandoned carts. Now people are able to go back to their cart and complete the shopping right inside the email. This ensures higher cart recovery. Two, gamification. There can be a lot of variations which I talked about. Everyone loves a quick and easy game. and it always increases the engagement rates. Three, carousels and accordions.
Mhm.
These help brands add a lot of information and yet keep their email looking clutter free and neat.
Mm.
Four is NPS surveys and feedback forms. Brands can collect zero party data that is crucial for personalizing email campaigns for relevant and effective interaction.
Okay, so yeah, people watching at home, like do keep them in mind. I'm thinking about carousels because obviously we've seen a real life example of the abandoned cart. We've seen a real life example of the gamification. So if you're on LinkedIn as much as I am, which is like embarrassingly a lot, we see a lot of carousels on LinkedIn, and it's interesting what you say is a great way to keep your email clutter free because I think carousels have been really useful um, on social media platforms to have to present information, quite a lot of information in quite an engaging way. Like, is that the? Would you agree that's the same for emails?
Yes, yes, true. Exactly.
Email is a vertical medium, and you don't have a lot of space before someone probably has to do something else entirely. So, would you say that you use it for? I'm guessing products, images,
Yeah,
things like
you
that.
can have. I mean, if I give an example of an e-commerce brand, they can have the product catalogs, and they can have a
Mhm.
lot of show different.
Amazing. And the fourth one. So, do remind me what your top four favorite
The
one.
feedback, NPS surveys, and feedback forms.
Okay, so that's exciting. So I'm just gonna make a guess. So does that mean someone? So if you send an NPS to someone, that they can immediately click a button and it feeds the information back?
Yeah, it's you can submit your answers right there. I mean, it'll be the data will get back to the brand.
Okay, so for people who don't understand why this is a big deal, in normal email world that is not interactive, what you would have to do is probably set up maybe different landing pages for people to go to that
Yeah,
they click on and then you look at the data and see where people clicked. Or it might be kind of like a fake form where somebody clicks on it and brings them to a real form, right? I think that's how people normally do it. So to have that kind of clean experience of a form that's embedded in an email is, yeah, that's pretty incredible for conversion.
yeah. So you don't need to get redirected. Like see the buffering happening if your internet is
Yeah.
not working.
Yes, yeah, I feel the pain. I feel the pain as a marketer on the other side. Okay, so I feel like we've hopefully excited a few people about the possibilities of Amber email. How do business get started for Amber emails? Like, what is the normal process?
So there are both technical and non-technical aspects of getting started with AMP emails. I will give an overview for a step-by-step process. We have written detailed blogs. You can read them on Netcore's website. Coming on to steps, you have to first register with each mailbox provider by following their latest guidelines. As of today, there are four MSPs: Gmail, Yahoo, MailRU, Fair Email, that support AMP emails. Now, this step is to get your domain and sender ID approved by the mailbox providers. It is a one time process that gets your sending domain and email ID whitelisted for sending AMP emails. Do remember that the sending email ID needs to be the same, as in the one that has the approval. If you want to change the sending email ID, you will need to go through the approval process again. Then comes the AMP email template creation. You can work with your design and development teams to create interactive AMP components. If you're working with an ESP, most of them have the AMP drag and drop editor. So that will not require any coding knowledge to create the AMP email. Always make sure that you create the fallback HTML version. Now, this is important because in case the recipient's email email client does not support AMP email, the HTML fallback will still correctly display your messaging. Once the template is created, you can go ahead, test, preview your email on the AMP playground of MSPs like Gmail. And yeah, you're good to go. Be mindful of the data collection. Watch out for any restrictions, imposed by data privacy laws and regulations in your region. And always consider gradual rollout of AMP emails. Start with smaller segments of your email list, assess the impact, gather feedback, and make improvements before you implement AMP email campaigns on a larger scale. So yeah, that's how brands can maximize engagement and conversions.
Yeah, I think also most ESPs I've come across do record what clients people are receiving their emails in. So I think you can segment people based off whether they are Gmail users or
Yeah,
otherwise. And so if
yeah,
you do want to make full use of a beautiful interactive email, you could probably segment that group to
exactly.
get your
Yeah.
email. Yeah, amazing. So I'd love to. I think you've mentioned some of these points, but I'd love to talk a little bit about like what are the limitations of AMP email. So are there any glaring ones that people should be mindful of?
The fallback thing that I've talked about,
Mm-hmm.
yes, that is very, very important that you need to have that if the AMP email doesn't get rendered at the receiver end. That
Mm-hmm.
is one. Registration process might take some time
Mm-hmm.
at the MSP's end. So just make sure you take care of that as well. But that's usually not a problem. So yeah, these are majorly the two things, and
Mm-hmm.
you can get started with different interactive elements.
I would be remiss to say that like any marketing ops person would want to stress that anything like this requires planning and it requires clear objectives. And so, what's the timeline that people can usually expect to go from no AMP emails to regularly sending AMP emails?
So registration might take time from 3 days to a week's time,
Mm-hmm.
where the MSPs give you the approval, and the range of when, like by when can you get started, will depend on the complexity of the use case.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So if you're just doing an engagement sort of a gamification one, you can still start quickly. If something requires the data coming from database,
Mm-hmm.
something, for example, card completion, that
Mm-hmm.
will require some time, because then you have to integrate few things with the API. So
Okay.
yeah, you can. I mean, it all depends upon how complex use case are you building.
Yeah, this wouldn't be a show with marketers if we didn't say it depends at least once, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Well, okay, so I have one last question, and I promise I'll let you go. So it sounds like a lot of the use cases are for B2C, but can you see these uses for a B2B company?
One example that is coming in my mind is you can ask people for a demo. So,
Mm.
like for SaaS companies, or I mean, if I take Netcore's example, I can reach out to other brands and maybe ask them to book an appointment for a demo. So that's how a B. There's one example that's coming in my mind for a B2B setup.
Okay, so yes, having recently come from a B2B experience, we know it's all about getting that meeting in, getting that booking in. So you're saying it's
Yeah.
an email that gets sent out with like a form that someone can fill out and book a meeting.
Yes, exactly.
Oh,
And the meeting
wow.
report, yeah,
Okay, all
within the
right.
email. So people don't have to go anywhere. It'll just happen within the email, giving a great experience.
Okay, and I know because like I have an attention span of a goldfish, so I know you need to immediately like get in on people before they get distracted by life. So that is an incredible use case for B2B. Okay, thank you so much, Jasmine, for joining me today. Was there anything else that you'd like to share about M for emails or even the work that you're doing at Netcore?
It's a great thing to try. That's all I can say. Brands are trying it. They're getting a. I mean, I already shared the number, one of the number, and there are many incredible numbers that we see. So
Okay.
I would highly recommend that whosoever ESP, whatever ESP you're using, just go if they're providing AMP, just try it out. It really gives you like about 5 to 10x increase in engagement and conversion rates.
Yeah, and I mean that kind of conversion rate, if you're a marketer and you're hearing that and not immediately feeling like, oh, I've got to try that right away, I don't know what you're doing. So yes, by all means, do check it out. I will put links to Netcore's blog because I believe you guys have a lot of great literature about it. But in the meantime, I think that brings us very sadly to the end of this very interesting email breakdown. So once again, thank you so much, Jasmine, for joining me. Thank you guys for watching. And for now, I'll catch you next time. Bye.
Bye.